All right, the next part of the story gets a little more complicated. And in order to show you this, I'm going to use a different model business. I'm going to use one that perhaps you ran as a kid, one that seems pretty simple but shows off lots of different aspects of different types of companies. It's a lemonade stand. So let's answer the questions about units for a lemonade stand. Well, the unit sale is rather simple. It's 1 cup of lemonade, 1 glass of lemonade, right? You don't sell it by the pitcher, you don't sell it by the barrel, you sell 1 cup at a time. And whenever you sell a cup of lemonade, there's an obvious cost of sales. There's a glass and a lemon and some sugar and some water and some labor to put it together. And it's a model, so there's probably other costs as well, but we're going to skip all those and just focus on these 5. Now we can put this into the format we saw before. So the back of the envelope calculation for the lemonade stand looks like this. Right? This is going to be a rather large lemonade stand, a really, really high growth lemonade stand. So we're going to just model out day 1, right? We're not even going to look at year 3 out here. We're just going to model 1 day just to see, does it make sense as a business? So let's say we can sell 100 glasses of lemonade at $1 a glass. This is great lemonade. It's got 1 lemon per glass. That's a gross revenue of $100. Well, then we have our cost of goods, and I'm just estimating 10 cents a cup and 25 cents a lemon and some sugar and labor and so forth. And I'm estimating that to be 60 cents. So again, at 100 glasses and 60 cents cost of goods, that's $60 cost of sales for a net profit of $40, right? I'm using lots of jargon here on purpose. I'm trying to teach it. And so net profit is how much money do you have to run your business on? Right? How much money not did you bring in the cash register, that's your gross profit, but how much money is then left over after you've paid for your cost of goods that you have to pay salaries and marketing and other overhead. Now, before we dive in and show you how to make a financial plan out of this, I just want to stop and say, yes, all those numbers were made up. And yes, every number in your financial plan is made up. And this is the lament I hear over and over and over again from first-time entrepreneurs, that when they put together their financial plan, it doesn't make them feel comfortable because every number that they put in there is made up. It's an assumption, it's an estimate, it's a projection. And the truth is, yes, every number is made up. But the point of doing this is to make the best guess, the best estimate of what's possible in this business that's never been built before. And so when you're done with this process, yes, all the numbers are made up, but they are by far educated guesses, right? You've done a little research, you've given it hours and hours of thought, and the numbers that you put in here are believable numbers, right? So put aside the fact that they're made up. That's great. That's what we're doing here. We're doing future projections, right? And you're just going to focus on whether or not each number sounds reasonable or not. Okay, and with that said, next we want to make sure that whoever's reading this financial plan understands which numbers are assumptions and which ones are calculations. And so when I do this in my plans, every time I've typed in a number, which is any assumption, every number typed in is an assumption, those all get colored blue. And then every number that is a calculation, a sum of those or multiplication or whatnot, is in black. And every number that is simply a copy of a previous assumption. So if I'm in month 2 and I'm using the value from month 1, that stays in black as well, right? I'll use a formula that says, great, grab the value from the previous column, right? So those stay in black. So when I look at a spreadsheet, I know what's editable, which is everything in blue, and I know what's not, which is everything in black. And what this means is every time you have any number that shows up in a formula, it needs to be visible on the page somewhere. You can't hide any of these numbers inside a formula. If you think it's $1 per glass, then it says somewhere on some cell in the spreadsheet $1, and you multiply that by the number of glasses. You don't squeeze it in the formula. And there are a few exceptions to this rule. If you are converting between time periods, if you are taking a number, multiplying by 12 to go from months to years, great. Multiply by 12 and make sure that the title next to it, the units say annual. If you're converting from months to quarters, great. You can multiply by 3, you can divide by 3 if you're going from quarters to months. That's all fine. We all know what the conversions are for dates. We don't have to say it was $1,000 this month and there are 12 months in a year, therefore it's $12,000. We can make that leap of logic that went from months to years without showing our work. Everything else, show your work.